My name is William Stephenson. I was born in Bells, Tennessee. 1927 I was born. When I was growing up, I did farm work, and my dad, before he died, bought me a horse I called Old Billy, and I rode Old Billy. And we didn't have any electricity in our house. We didn't have running water in the house. We had a well on the back porch, and we had a outside toilet. And so we back then there was no tractors or anything, no electricity, and so we were just really farm workers, and that's how we made a living until I was 18 years old. Well, I was in the 12th grade, and March 45, I was in the 12th grade. I had my 18th birthday. I didn't want to be drafted, so I went and joined the Navy thinking they'd let me go ahead and finish my education and get my diploma, but they didn't. They called me in to the Navy right away, and I went into boot camp. And when I went aboard the ship, my mother was a widow, and I told them I didn't want any money. All I wanted was $5, and I wanted them to send the rest of it to my mother, and they did. They sent her a check each month. In the service, I was just a seaman first class. I did a lot of kitchen work and painting and things that seaman first class sailors do. We had a high place on the ship that you had to climb a ladder to the top of it, and it had a radio up there, and it was a lookout tower, and I thought I saw a torpedo coming at us, and I reported it, and it happened to be a porpoise. But anyway, we left San Francisco June 2nd, 1945, and we were loaded with soldiers to make a landing on Japan, and we headed that away. I did not have gunnery training in boot camp, and when we got to Saipan, I had gunnery training in Saipan. And on the way to out of Saipan, on the way, we took on some soldiers off of battle wagons as we were moving towards Japan. And we did this underway. We had a line that ran from the battleship to our ship, and they came on a little seat on that line, and we would pull it across and bring the soldier aboard our ship. We carried LSVs, which is landing ship vehicles, in our ship, and it was a deal where we didn't put a soldier in the water. We took them ashore. It had wheels on it, and we took them ashore. And we would have made that landing in Japan had it not been them dropping the A-bombs. Truman authorized that landing, that A-bomb deal, and so that was the end of the war, end of World War II. We went, after we left Tokyo Bay, we come out and went up to a place called Yokohama, Japan, and Yokohama had prison camps for our boys they had captured, and we took several hundred of them aboard our ship, and we put some in hospital ships, and the others we took on to Hawaii. And from Hawaii we went back to San Francisco, and I had taken pictures of that signing of the ceasefire treaty, And so I took it into a place in San Francisco to have it developed. And when I went to get it, they said they had lost the film, and I didn't get my pictures. But then we took the ship on around to Houston, Texas, and we went down a river from Houston to Beaumont, Texas, and we put the ship in mothballs, so to speak, and then I was able to get my discharge. They sent me to New Orleans, Louisiana to get my discharge, which I got it. When we went down to Beaumont, Texas to put that ship in dry dock, the skipper asked me if I wanted to go ashore, and I told him yes. And I said, and do what? He says, want you to go to a Boy Scout camp. I said, Boy Scout camp? What can I do at a Boy Scout camp? He said, teach them how to tie knots. And I did. When I got out, I went and got under a plan called 5220. In other words, I went to work, and they paid me $20 a month while I was training to be a credit manager, which I became a credit manager, and I was transferred to Birmingham, Alabama as a credit manager for Bond Clothing, and I did that for several years. And then we had another son at that point. My wife wanted to come back to Memphis, and we did. And I bought my first house when I got back to Memphis. That house was being built. It wasn't complete, but it was being built, and I paid $5,400 for the house. The notes were $30-some a month, which I paid. And then I went to work for a store called Mangle's Dress Shop, and I did that for several years, and I was an auditor for them. I would go into one of their stores and do an audit on it. We had stores in Louisiana, Opelousas, New Iberia, Crowley, and then we had, I helped open one in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and so I worked in the retail business most of my working life. The younger generation, get your education, find a lady that you loved, get married, and have a family. That was my life, is my family. We had 5 children. All of them graduated from college, and all of them are successful people. The next March 12th, I'll be 93 years old. That's just about it.